Hi everyone. So it's a new year, and my business as a professional organizer is sort of starting to evolve and I guess you could say enter a new phase. Um, yeah, I've been working on scaling up and growing. And I've always been kind of a person who would see other entrepreneurs and they would try to sell the secrets to starting a business. And I would think, well, like, I don't know, everybody's trying to sell the secret and this and that, but there is no secret, and I don't ever see myself doing this. Um, but I will say that as you kind of cross over hurdles and get more time under your belt as a business owner, you start to learn things from your own perspective. And I am a person who is all about knowledge and empowerment, and I think sharing is caring. Almost said that backward. Because I want other people to be empowered, and I think there's enough money to be made by everyone, to repeat that cliche phrase that you hear a lot on YouTube. But I think it's true. I think we all should find what we're good at, and then you know, find a way to generate income from it because it's possible. So I'm going to give you my first kind of business tip, I guess. Take it or leave it, whatever you want, but it's kind of what I've learned in business. And this is kind of just like an informal style to how I'll be sharing this. Because I haven't put I haven't put any of this into an ebook. Now, I do have ebooks on organizing and time management and things like that are just like for anyone. And I do work with a lot of small business owners and big business executives on that. But this is just for the entrepreneurs because I see a lot of the same questions over and over and over again. How do I get started? How did you get started? What do I do? Just like very general questions. So I'm going to be sharing some general advice that anyone can take for free and see if you can apply it to yourself from my YouTube channel. So I was just thinking, as I kind of like narrow down my service offerings and my digital products I have, and think about writing more ebooks, making courses, things like that. And I yeah, so like it just dawned on me how, like, when I first started, I wasn't thinking like this, but this is sort of what I did and what I would recommend anyone. And it sounds kind of obvious, but I'll try to break it down after I say it. So, when you're starting a business, because like the way I started my professional organizing business wasn't entirely intentional. I moved to New York and I was just kind of like doing some freelancing things here and there, and saw that people were requesting help from a person to organize their homes, their apartments, their businesses, things like that. And so I did a few of those, took a few of those freelance jobs, and gradually it was kind of like more and more became available to me. People would refer their friends and family to me, and from there, I started advertising online. I started kind of advertising my service. Okay, well, I guess I'm a professional organizer and this is what I do. And once you sort of, or for me, once I sort of packaged things that way, it became easier to attract business. I will say that's just kind of like a quick general overview. I can go more into detail about that, but this is just like for a quick video. So what I realized that I was doing back then, that I would recommend a person do now, if you have an idea of what you want to do, just a general idea, you got to start with whatever makes you money. So for me, that was providing in-home services. Most of my customers are residential. I would especially work with people here in New York. People have sort of cramped spaces, or your apartment might have like a strange setup. You may or may not have closets. maybe you have like just shelving in your room instead of what where in another city what would be a closet, especially like a walk-in closet. People, average income person in New York may on Manhattan, most people don't have walk-in closets if they're just like regular middle class people, or slightly below, like low middle class especially. A lot of people share apartments, things like that, so they have to mesh their organizing habits with roommates. And I would have people would have me come in and help them get their space organized, and help like roommates come up with a plan and divide how they would maintain their spaces, and share closets in the common areas, kitchen cabinets, things like that. So I would just go and do those things. I could do them pretty quickly just because it's like a natural skill of mine. And, have them pay me right then and there, cash. And that was it. Okay, see you. I'm on my way. You know, they'd be grateful, and I'd say you're welcome. A lot of people would schedule me for follow-up visits and things like that. Um, and so that was the deal. It was relatively quick and easy money. Well, I don't know. Nothing is really easy, but it was, I mean, the money was faster than just like you might be used to, or anyone. I've worked regular jobs, like you wait for your 2 week pay period. And so I like that, obviously just being able to have money available to me because it's really expensive up here. So that's what you have to do. Whether your skill is cooking, you could think about catering. You could do meal prep. You can and you could do meal prep where you're just like selling prepared meals and people have to do the actual cooking, like add fire to it so that it cooks. Or you could do actually prepared meals like dinners for busy people, and you might deliver them. You make the food and then deliver it to people in your city. If you're a cleaner, you could go from house to house cleaning. Obviously, don't just go to someone's house, but maybe like hand out flyers or put an ad in the newspaper, even on Craigslist, but just be very careful about vetting your clients. Do background checks, which actually isn't that difficult. Like you can, especially if you can pull up like profiles and info and data on people so easily nowadays. You need to figure out where they work. You can even find like criminal history a lot of times if people have one, or you could just like use a background check service. So what are some other examples? Yard work. If you really want to be a gardener, but you're also good at cutting grass, that could be a quick money maker, just so that if this is your only thing you're doing, which there is nothing wrong with having a job while you're growing your business, but if you don't, for whatever reason, if you get laid off, whatever the case may be, you need money 9 times out of 10, and that's a way to just get some cash flow going. And you're kind of still planning your business and where you want to take it. And yeah, just like stacking your money, paying your bills if you have them, if that's your only source of income. Because honestly, it takes a long time to really get a business going. Like, I was very fortunate because I had no overhead costs. I kind of like stumbled into a client base, and being able to market myself and put myself on a platform where people could find me. But when you start talking about like structuring your business and creating a business plan and figuring out how you're going to make money over time and how you're going to scale up, that takes a while. Marketing, all that stuff takes a long time. And most businesses are not profitable within their first year of operation. So just remember that. Which leads me into my next point. Keep overhead costs low. And this is a lesson that I learned. Like, I kept my overhead costs low. Overhead meaning, like your regular expenses you're always going to have. Like if you rent out an office space, or if you, like need to, if you, let's say you have a coffee stand, you're always going to need to buy cups and things like that. Like whatever you need for your business, keep your costs as low as possible. And I did a great job of that in the beginning. I didn't, because the nature of my business didn't really call for me to have anything. Like I didn't even have business cards starting out. That was something I later did once I realized I wanted to do the business full time, or even really like ongoing part time. So yeah, like as you grow, you're gonna start to need those things, and so you're gonna have to have some money coming in so that you can invest in things like that and looking more professional. So, yeah, for me, I learned this. So I will have been in business 5 years, Lord willing, come this July. So last year I kind of learned like a big lesson because I was trying to grow my social media presence. I was trying to invest in like online ads and stuff like that. I lost so much money in Facebook ads. Um, yeah, and I mean it's one of those things like now I wouldn't have done that because I've found out a way that I think will work much better for me due to the nature of my business. And so I'm going to put some money toward this other method of advertising and see how it goes. And I honestly think it'll go much better than trying to do it the online way. But for a lot of businesses, that is the way to go. A lot of hairdressers, a lot of people who do things with food, they can make these alluring photos and sell online. And especially if your business doesn't require much explanation. And even if it does, you can do like demo videos and things. But I would say try to grow your audience organically. Try to do it the free way first. Now, you're always going to end up either paying money or paying your time. And that is one of the best quotes I heard. I don't remember what YouTuber or where I read it, what YouTuber said it or where I read it, but that quote is very, very true. So you might be able to get something for free, but you might have to spend time tweaking it. Or, like I have done a great job, I think, of growing my Instagram audience over the past year, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of dedication and discipline. And I've been helping my brother grow his, and he's learning, and his is actually starting to grow. I think he's getting pretty excited about that. Um, and I'm no expert, so like you're gonna have to, invest time in reading and learning and things like that. Or just if you have the money, pay somebody who is good at that to do it for you. So, yeah, that is that. Yeah, so I would say don't come out of the gate like if you just started a business, don't like dump a whole lot of money into advertising online or whatever you hear about that sounds great and trendy and people tell you it'll be easy. Unless you've got that money to lose. So outside of that, yeah, that leads me into my next point. Grow your audience. Start working on that early. Don't expect it to happen overnight. It's really, really hard, especially nowadays when everyone is trying to grow their audience, when the algorithms are constantly changing, when paid ads are becoming more of a thing and the platforms are kind of favoring paid ads. Yeah, so like plan to start doing that ahead. Like don't be frustrated if it doesn't happen for you quickly. It was really frustrating for me at first. And even on some other platforms, like if I really like tried to do it overnight on some other platform, like YouTube is growing slow as crap. But fortunately, like I focused a lot more on Instagram and I've been very diligent and I could stand to be more diligent, and I think it'll get better as I become more consistent and more active. YouTube especially requires a lot of activity and just strategic thinking. So be prepared to do all of that. And yeah, you think of alternative methods, like you can maybe pay an influencer to post one of your posts on their page and drive traffic that way. That's not always going to work. You might not get any followers. So if you're going to do that and use influencers, unless you've got like a bang on idea that is just hot and you've bounced it off other people, the people in your everyday life are willing to pay for it and have paid for it, or you sold out of it or sold it really well at like a neighborhood fair or a market or something like that, then you might want to put money toward like a bigger influencer. But I would say experiment with that. There are some really, really inexpensive people who do sponsor posts, and you can play around with that. What else? This is a very impromptu video. So, what else do I want to say? That's kind of it. Just be mindful of your budget. Don't invest in things thinking it'll happen for you overnight. Now it could, but just plan for it not to. And if it does happen overnight, great. If it doesn't, you haven't disrupted your lifestyle. You can still pay your bills. But always be focused on what makes you money, because if it's not making you money, you know what, that's not necessarily the right advice for everyone, because there are going to be times when you have to focus on something that doesn't make you money. For example, when you are growing your social media, I've invested so much time in social media and some other things that didn't make me money right away, but I know that they will down the line. So there's going to be trade-offs like that, but just choose wisely. And even in those cases, you have to be bringing in money. Unless you've got like a full-time job, or unless you've got like a benefactor, or you're independently wealthy. But if a lot of people are kind of like depending on their side hustle, or depending on this business they're trying to start to actually make them money to pay the bills, and if that is you, then you gotta always go where the money is, whether it's take some products down to the festival that your town is having and just like sell them for cash, go door to door, like whatever it is you have to do, that's legal. Yeah, like money is a bit more of an immediate priority for you, so you're gonna have to move your feet to make it, and you can't really afford to waste your time on stuff that's not making you money up front. So I had another thing I was gonna say about that. Making your money, moving your feet. What was I gonna say? Door to door. Oh, so like business, you know what? That's another video probably. We could talk about business licensing and what I had to go through, and what most people in other states kind of have to do. Sometimes, yeah, you do need a business license. Sometimes you don't. Food service is a really iffy thing, because you're dealing with what people put in their bodies, and so there might be some extra certifications and things you got to do to make food and sell it. So yeah, we can talk about that in another video, because maybe I want to give you some information apart from what I had to do, which was pretty straightforward. Honestly, oh yeah, and like sole proprietorship and LLC. I started out as a sole proprietorship and was one for like my first 3 years of being in business, maybe like 2.5, 3 years. And I looked all this stuff up, and I, didn't need a license to do what I was doing at first. And then, yeah, I wanted to, basically I registered in my state. I have business insurance. It's another thing that we can talk about, that we need to talk about, particularly if you're in people's homes, or if you're dealing with something that can cause like a loss, like dealing with hair even. If somebody loses their hair, they're going to come for you. If you burn somebody's scalp, like, whatever, like you just want to cover yourself in case any of your clients have any types of, loss. And, stepping outside of a sole proprietorship and registering as like an LLC or whatever is one way of protecting yourself. And then business insurance is another way. So yeah, we can talk about all that stuff, but that's going to be another video. So I hope you enjoyed this content. Let me know if you have any questions. That'd be great too. Yeah, comment below, like, share. Please subscribe to my little baby channel, because I enjoy making content, but I want to know that people are enjoying it and are going to watch it and whatever. Or not. I mean, I want you to, but you don't have to. Free country, whatever. So anyway, yeah, I will see you in the next video. Take care, and it's nighttime here, so like good night, I guess, or whenever you watch this. Yeah. Anyway, see you in the next one. Bye now.